Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Coaching Scenarios, Worst and Best, where we are exploring together with Eva Tsigu what are the best and the worst scenarios in the context, in the rationale of the ICF Digital Exam for your credentialing. And of course, our host is Eleni. Good morning, Eleni.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Happy to be here.
Happy to be here too. And good morning, Eva.
Good morning to everyone. Nice to see you again.
So I think we have a lot of work today. How about we do a quick start with the first scenario, Eleni?
Yes. Can you see the scenario I'm sharing?
Yes, and it looks great.
Yeah. Take a deep breath,
I love
Ellen.
to go through. I've practiced. Okay, so our first scenario. A client confides in you about a personal ethical dilemma they're facing at work. The client feels pressured by their supervisor to engage in unethical behavior that violates their moral compass. The client is afraid of losing their job if they refuse to comply. They have already tried to address the situation with their supervisor, but their concerns have been dismissed. The client is also feeling isolated and alone and is struggling to find support. They are also experiencing symptoms of depression and anxiety. They are struggling with chronic illness that is affecting their daily life and are facing financial hardship and are worried about the future. The client is also feeling overwhelmed and stressed and is struggling to prioritize their commitments. The client is struggling with identity issues and feelings of not belonging. The client is also experiencing a recent loss of a loved one and is struggling with substance abuse and addiction. The client is also feeling overwhelmed by the demands of their job and personal life and struggling with feelings of guilt and shame. The client is also struggling with self esteem issues and a lack of confidence and are therefore feeling hopeless and despairing. The client is also struggling with feelings of anger and resentment towards others and struggling with feelings of envy and jealousy. Finally, the client is also struggling with feelings of worthlessness and unworthiness.
Mm, the client is struggling.
They're one
There's a
unhappy
lot of struggle.
individual. Hmm.
A lot of struggle. So, what are our options?
This is very interesting. This is a very complete scenario.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
So our first, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Ellen. Go ahead.
Thank you. So the first option is to respond. As an employee, your primary duty should always align with your employer's goals and directives, even if these clash with personal beliefs or ethical considerations. Upholding the company's vision and ensuring its operational success must be your top priority. Addressing any discomfort or moral concerns should come secondary to maintaining loyalty to your employer, as their interests dictate the larger organizational well being.
Hey.
The second option is the response you should follow your gut and do what feels right. The third response is the following. Let's explore the options available to you and consider the potential consequences of each. We can also discuss strategies for addressing the situation with your supervisor while protecting yourself from retaliation. We can explore legal options and resources to help you navigate the situation. Additionally, we can discuss your financial concerns and develop a plan to help you transition to a new job. We can also explore resources and support networks that can provide you with emotional support and guidance during this difficult time. We can also discuss strategies for managing stress and overwhelm and for prioritizing your commitments. We can also explore the potential benefits of seeking professional mental health support and strategies for managing your chronic illness and improving your quality of life. Additionally, we can explore options for financial assistance and support, and we can discuss strategies for coping with grief and loss. We can also work together to build a support network and find positive coping mechanisms. We can also address your substance abuse and your addiction and explore options for treatment and recovery. We can also discuss strategies for managing the demands of your job and personal life and for finding balance in your life. We can also explore ways to address your feelings of guilt and shame and develop a more compassionate and forgiving attitude towards yourself and work together to build your self esteem and confidence. We can also explore the root causes of your anger and resentment and develop healthy ways to express and manage these emotions. We can also work together to identify and address any underlying beliefs or assumptions that are contributing to your negative thought patterns. We can also explore strategies for managing your feelings of envy and jealousy and for developing healthy relationships with others. And finally, we can explore ways to address your feelings of worthlessness and unworthiness and to develop a more positive and self compassionate mindset. And we have a final option, which is a response. As your coach, there are limitations to how deeply I can involve myself in certain matters, especially when they involve complex ethical dilemmas at your workplace. Since this falls outside of my professional scope, I recommend you seek advice from a legal or HR expert to ensure that your concerns are addressed appropriately. My role here is limited to providing general guidance without engaging directly with such sensitive issues.
Didn't like that one. How about you, Eva?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
I didn't like that one. How
No,
about you?
I didn't like it either. Um, if we want to start with the responses one by one,
Mm-hmm.
uh, let's do that. Maybe I suggest, and see how they kind of respond to what the client is bringing. Okay. Um, the scenario was very, I think, kind of incorporate the whole person. So
Mm-hmm.
we have a good idea of what this person is bringing to coaching, and there are a lot of things that are there. So if we look at scenario one, for example, the response one, if we can go back to response one, I think that the option, okay, um, okay. As an employee, your duty is to align yourself with the goals and directives. This is the this is a not coaching, because this is a coaching expressing his own belief.
Yes.
Um, this is kind of telling the client that what is important, but what is important for him, not for the client. The client is not involved here,
Mm-hmm.
and that secondary concerns are really not important. So it's I see it a bit like dismissive towards the client.
Yes, and if I can add to that, I think there's more to it. This is a potential ethical breach because
Yes.
this person is stepping out of the role as a coach, and they're making strong points, making decisions, and trying to impose that. So this is not the coaching way of doing things. This is not the coaching role at all. So this is very solid nomination for the West response. I see. I think.
Yeah. It would be for me also a nomination for a worst response. First of all, it doesn't address the clients as a whole person. It kind of just picked up the ethical issue and dealt only with that. And I think it took um, a stand as to what he believes that the coach is really important for him at this point. So he's also kind of setting the agenda for the client, which is not coaching, as we know.
Mhm.
That's what I read into that response.
How about option two?
Let's see, option two. I'll look at it in my, because I don't remember. Oh, yeah. Okay. You should follow your gut and do what. Okay. this is telling the client what he's supposed to do, which is not coaching. um, for me, that is also could be a worse answer.
Personally, I wouldn't say this is the worst answer because it invites the client to feel, to be true about themselves and what they believe is important. But they are kind of guiding about what would be the appropriate way, the method to do that. And I would agree with you that the client is more like telling than asking.
Yeah.
So it's not, I wouldn't say that it's very, very bad, but I wouldn't be
I wouldn't give it a tick. I wouldn't. Wouldn't
yeah, it
check it
wouldn't be
as.
my favorite
Yeah.
one. It's especially knowing option number three, which is, I believe, is a more not only elaborate, but I think it encompasses not just what the client wants to achieve, but who the client wants to be, and
Exactly.
it shows that they are doing active listening. They are getting in the shoes of the client and they are noticing what their client is thinking, what their client is experiencing, and they are bringing that into their answer. And so they're making an invitation that is a holistic approach, a holistic invitation about
Absolutely.
what the client or how the client bring themselves in the coaching session. What do you think, Eva?
Yeah. For me, this is coaching the whole client, the whole person, and not focusing on only on one issue that kind of maybe started as the issue, which was the ethical part, but looks at the whole person and respects that whole person has different parts that need to be dealt with. So for me, number three is a very good um, answer or response because it gives also room for the client to choose which areas he would like to prioritize on. I mean, there are a lot of things there that he needs to deal with, but he's overwhelmed. Also, giving them that clarity of what can be done in coaching is also very important, I think, and also respectful towards the client as a person.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. So I can say that option three is the best one. And regarding the worst one, we didn't like option four, but we didn't like option one as well. And I think option one is the worst
It,
because it consists an ethical breach, to
yeah,
put it simply. Yeah, it's
yeah,
that serious.
yeah, absolutely. I agree with you there. I agree with you.
So shall we see the responses?
Yes, please.
Okay. So best one is option three, indeed. And the worst one is option one.
Exactly.
Wonderful.
We agree
Okay, are
on
we
that.
ready to move on to the next scenario?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll be happy to look at the second scenario today. How about you, Eva?
Yes, I'm curious.
Absolutely.
Okay, so our second scenario. A client is experiencing a personal setback. They are feeling discouraged and defeated. The client has a history of giving up easily when faced with challenges. The client is also struggling with feelings of hopelessness and despair. They have recently experienced a series of setbacks which have reinforced their negative beliefs. The client is also feeling overwhelmed and stressed and is struggling to cope with their emotions. And they're struggling with identity issues and feelings of belonging. The client is also experiencing symptoms of depression and anxiety. They're struggling with a chronic illness that is affecting their daily life. and they're facing financial hardship and therefore are worried about the future. The client is also feeling isolated and alone and is struggling to connect with others. The client is also struggling with a recent loss of a loved one and with substance abuse and addiction. The client is also feeling overwhelmed by the demands of their job and personal life. They're struggling with feelings of guilt and shame and with self esteem issues and a lack of confidence. The client is also feeling hopeless and despairing and is struggling with feelings of anger and resentment towards others. The client is also struggling with feelings of envy and jealousy and with feelings of worthlessness and unworthiness. And the client is finally struggling with feelings of fear and uncertainty about the future.
Mm,
Okay.
that
Let's
doesn't
see
look
that.
very good.
That's a lot there. There's a lot there.
Mm,
Definitely. So, our first response could be building resilience is a key factor in overcoming challenges. And I believe this is an area where you could focus your efforts. Developing a stronger mental and emotional framework will allow you to navigate setbacks more effectively. Resilience can be cultivated through intentional practices like self reflection, emotional regulation, and learning from adversity. Once you adopt this mindset, you will find that challenges become stepping stones for personal growth.
Well, that's an easy recipe.
that sounds like a diagnosis.
Very diagnostic in 4 lines.
Mm,
Uh, I to me that would not be a good response.
mm,
Um, it's also this is the again the coach is giving their opinion,
yeah,
building resistance. Okay, yes, it's helpful to a client maybe to mention these things, but they should be coming from them. I mean,
yeah,
the questions should be ones that will draw out the need to build resistance, and from there, the coach to guide the client through the process of how one builds resistance.
yeah,
And it's not only resistance that is there. Sorry, not resistance, resilience.
Resilience.
That is sorry, that is the only issue there. Okay, resilience, of course, could solve him if he was empowered and built his resilience. Could solve some of his issues, but not all of it. So it's not really, it's kind of picking on some of the issues that the client has brought up. It's not really listening to the whole person.
yeah. So if I'm being honest, I wouldn't say it's too bad. It seems it's the coach is respectful of the client
Yeah.
and to some extent what they're bringing into the coaching session and what they're experiencing. But yes, for sure, they're kind of just uh, pushing through the diagnosis and making and being very directive in their approach. So I wouldn't say that it's great either, but
It,
it's
it-
not that bad, but it's not that good either.
yeah, okay, but it's something that the the coach decided to focus on. So
That's true. You're
yeah,
right. I
and
agree
to
with
me
you.
that's really putting the client. It's directive. Directing the client to where the coach feels, okay, or believes would be a good solution for them. And that's not really empowering the client to find his own solutions and how he can deal with it, because each individual has their own way of dealing with the situation. So our job is really to listen closely and deeply to what the client is saying, and not make a diagnostic and share it in a way that here's the prescription, kind of thing.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. I agree with you. However, I have to say, I have to give this to the to him that he's not as bad as the other person in the previous scenario where the other guy was finger pointing. You should be doing that, and this
Yeah.
is not. And let me tell, and like totally disrespectful of the client. I mean, this guy is look like he's on the right path, but he's not quite there yet. He needs to do a few more things. Needs to add a little more. So, how about moving on to the next options? What do you say?
Let's go. We can come.
Okay.
Yes.
So our second option. Let's explore these negative beliefs and see if they are based on reality. We can use techniques like cognitive behavioral therapy that should be, yeah, to challenge these thoughts and replace them with more positive ones. We can also explore the origins of your perfectionism and fear of failure and develop strategies to address them. Additionally, we can discuss how to reframe your recent setbacks as opportunities for growth and learning. We can also work together to develop coping mechanisms for feelings of hopelessness and despair. We can also explore stress management techniques to help you cope with the overwhelming emotions you're experiencing and discuss your identity issues and feelings of not belonging, as well as explore ways to build a stronger sense of self and belonging. We can also explore the potential benefits of seeking professional mental health support. We can also discuss strategies for managing your chronic illness and improving your quality of life. Additionally, we can explore options for financial assistance and support. We can also discuss strategies for coping with grief and loss and work together to build a support network and find positive coping mechanisms. We can also address your substance abuse and addiction and explore options for treatment and recovery. We can also discuss strategies for managing the demands of your job and personal life and for finding balance in your life. We can explore ways to address your feelings of guilt and shame and develop a more compassionate and forgiving attitude towards yourself. We can also work together to build your self esteem and confidence and explore the root causes of your anger and resentment, as well as develop healthy ways to express and manage these emotions. We can also work together to identify and address any underlying beliefs or assumptions that are contributing to your negative thought patterns. We can also explore strategies for managing your feelings of envy and jealousy and for developing healthier relationships with others. We can also explore ways to address your feelings of worthlessness and unworthiness and to develop a more positive and self compassionate mindset. Finally, we can explore strategies for managing your feelings of fear and uncertainty about the future.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is a very holistic option. And I think addresses most of the issues that the client has come up with. And it might be because I also read in the scenario that there's depression there, there's possible drug addiction and abuse. So there might be here. There's options given to maybe share with other mental health professionals. You know, his the person to be helped, and not only through coaching, like a referral in a way. That is an option too, and I think should be kept in mind as I was reading the scenario.
I would say this guy is resourceful. So he is bringing a lot of tools to in the coaching session, and I like that. Uh, I would have liked better if he was not suggesting to use cognitive behavioral therapy. They could use cognitive behavioral coaching instead,
Yeah.
for example. But I think overall, this looks like a good response. Are you ready to move to the third one?
Mhm.
Okay. So, maintaining a positive mindset is essential for personal success and growth. By focusing on the brighter aspects of your situation and adopting an optimistic outlook, we can reshape your experiences into opportunities. Positive thinking not only fosters resilience, but also inspires confidence and creativity. Practicing gratitude and affirmations regularly will allow you to transform even the most challenging moments into empowering lessons.
Mm.
Mm.
So again, this is an invitation again, but it looks like this is not a very resourceful person, and they are not really partnering with the client in the way that the method that they will choose. That he's not creating space for the
For the
client
client.
to decide
Yeah,
on the methodology as well, in
yeah.
contrast to the previous one.
I agree with you on that one. Yeah, absolutely. It's in a way it's telling the client what's best for him. Yeah.
Mm, yes.
Um, so
Shall we
In
move to
terms
the
of
next one?
method, not the
method.
content.
No, not the
I had to
method.
give that to him. Yes, but
Yeah.
it's not good partnering.
No,
Yes.
absolutely no.
So the fourth
And
one.
we have our final option. To move forward, it's vital to channel your energy into recognizing and leveraging your strengths while setting aside unnecessary focus on areas of difficulty. Dwelling on weaknesses often leads to self doubt, whereas honing your natural abilities ensures steady progress and confidence. By prioritizing what you excel at, you will find clarity and fulfillment in your personal and professional endeavors.
Yeah, this sounds like blaming,
Yeah. Abs-
blaming the
I-
client.
Absolutely. Yeah. And yeah, set aside unnecessary focus of areas of difficulty. I mean, okay. To me, that says, I don't know, the coach might not be confident enough to even touch that area. So he's kind of throwing the ball to the client, like, okay, uh, it's okay. We can leave that. That to me is really not of, it might be the worst, I think.
It's good for Instagram, but not for a coaching session.
Exactly. Absolutely. You can advice, good advice for Instagram, but not.
Yeah. Quick fixes.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what to do. Yeah.
Exactly. It goes into advice and a little bit of training. Like I'll train you, like how to approach this. Yeah, because I have
Or,
the tools.
or worse, like, let me do that for you.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. Really not empowering the
Uh,
client.
you know what I find? Yeah.
Yes.
Uh, these these more elaborate scenarios
Mhm.
have a lot of information in there. So it also shows how well the coach is listening or is reading, like, between the lines in a way, or reading the scenario in a way that will help the client as a whole person. That's what I'm taking away from these. You know, we coach the person, and also their issues. Okay, to help them find solutions, but they're part of that. They're part of the system, the person.
Yes.
So this,
Coaching the person and linking the who and the what.
the who and the
Who
what,
the person
exactly,
wants to be and what the person needs to do in the
exactly.
context of the topic they're bringing into the coaching session
Yeah,
and the goal
it's
that has been set.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's the the core competencies that have the new ones, doing and being. So it's kind of bridging that as good coaches. Good coaching would be to put those together.
So having said that, I lean into saying that the last one is the worst one. Option four is the worst one. And I think for me, my personal best is option number two. What do you say?
Yeah, definitely worst for me is 4. Also, personally, I would not, go into do that. So it kind of just hit me right away. I like 2 because again, it addresses like the whole person. Really, the coach has listened to what the person's saying, and helps him to, to give clarity to the different areas that are important to him. So he's saying that we could, explore all all of the areas that you've brought into coaching, and
Yeah,
that's what our job is actually as coaches.
I like
So
that
let's
too.
say if
So,
you want.
Eleni, yeah. Who's the win? Okay, number 2.
Yes, you were
Number
right.
2 is best. And how about the worst?
It is
Yay,
number
it's
4.
4.
All right.
Woo!
So we are uh, okay. So we agree again today. So that I think that brings us to the end of our episode today. And we are doing the best and the worst coaching scenarios. That this is, I think, great work to support you in your digital exam for your PCC and MCC credentialing with the ICF, the International Coaching Federation. So if you like this episode, watch out for the next episodes. That we are frequently upload on our YouTube channel. And please like, share, and comment on the video, and follow us, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that bell button so you can get notifications for every new YouTube video that we upload. So until next time, stay well, be present, and keep coaching.
And good coaching.
Don't forget to take our PCC mock test